Hello everyone, this is James Shore and welcome to another test-driven development video. So when we last left off, we just finished doing some very simple stuff. Um, while I was off camera, I went ahead and fixed up the project location. I created a Git repository, I put everything in there. And to finish that off, let's rename this package to Finances, which is a better temporary name than Screencast at least. All right, so we have a simple put stuff into the account, take stuff out. That's really not the purpose here. The purpose for this project is to do long-term forecasting of personal finances. My personal finances, or maybe yours. At some point, I'm sure I'll put the code up. Although I do have to say I'm not a financial expert, so don't take anything I say here as financial advice, please. Um, so Depositing and withdrawing is fine, but I think what we really need to do here is start doing some projections. So what I want to do is create a test that will project out for a year. Now, I haven't actually figured out how I want to do this yet. So let's just play with it a little bit and see what we come up with. So we'll call this next year, and I think let's ultimately what we want to do is get something that we can graph. We want to get a chart or a table or a graph that shows from the current time out to, age 100, or, however many years from now, how much money will be in this account in every single year. So let's start by just making a savings account. New savings account with $10,000 in it, and let's age it a year. Next year, and how do we want to deal with this? Well, let's see. Let's actually do something interesting. Let's not make that a stateful operation. Let's make that an immutable object, which means that this will return a new object for the next year. I'm just sort of thinking out loud here, trying to think of some ideas. And let's assume that it's going to be 10% interest, which is fabulous. Which means that next year what we would have would be well, 10,000 times 10% would be 11,000, correct? So let's see, next year dot balance. Like I said, I'm just sort of playing with these ideas. I don't have a constructor that takes an initial balance just yet, and that doesn't really fit my understanding of how I want the domain to work. So let's deposit $10,000, and we'll need a next year method. Now I could return that, make that a double, but let's make it an int for now. I don't want to make it a double because of rounding errors and floating point problems. I'd actually rather use fixed precision math. Alright, so there's our balance, 11,000. It's failing because there's no next year. So we're going to want to return a new savings account. That's returning 0. Okay, good. So I want to add the balance times the interest rate divided by 100. That would give us, did not give us the right answer. Why is that? What's the error here? Oh, deposit. and then return the result. I think that will work. I'm not really thrilled with this code, but it's a good start. Oh, and we need to add the current balance. So times 1 plus all of that. Expected 11,000, but was 10,000. Okay, I'm confused. I did the math wrong, obviously. So let's do it this way. 100 plus the interest rate divided by 100. By the way, if it looks like I'm hacking, yeah, I kind of am. That's just sort of the way I work. I keep hacking at it until it works. What am I doing wrong here? So this is why I like having a programming partner, because I'm sure you on the video are looking at this and saying, oh wow, that's really obvious, you bozo. But I'm just not seeing it. So let's try this again. So times interest rate divided by 100. So that's our 1,000, and we want to say balance plus that. That's just incredibly cheesy, but it works. So the important thing here in TDD, of course, is to get it to work before you worry too much about how you've written it. So now that we've got that written, we really need to clean this up. There's so much I don't like about it. First, how do we want to deal with this? So do we really want the savings account to return a new savings account for every year? That's an interesting question. That would allow us to do some interesting stuff, like, let's just play with this a little bit. Let's go ahead and toss in a little main program. If I can remember how this works. Static void main string array of args. Console dot. No, that's C++, or that's C#, which I also use. Println hello. Now, I'm not going to TDD this code because this is actually itself just a little bit of test code. Now let's run that, and there's our hello. So what we could do here is we could say for int I equals 0, I less than 60, I plus plus. So we'll go from now to 60. Let's make our starting account, savings account, account equals new savings account. The reason I'm doing this is it's helpful for me to try to get a grasp on what I want to do. This part of the process is the most difficult because I don't really know what I want to do yet. So account.deposit $10,000. So what we're going to do is just see how $10,000 grows over time, assuming it's compounded clearly. So we should be able to see, we'll say system out print when we're going to print year 1 has the amount of account.balance, and then probably account equal account.next year at 10%. So let's see what happens with that. Well, there's our 60 years of interest. All right, so the reason I wanted to do that was I just wanted to see what it was like to use this interface. I suppose I could have written it as a test, but I actually wanted to play with the output a little bit. Because like I said, what we're going to end up with is a little program that actually is a UI. It's going to output tables of information like this. It will probably graph it. And I wanted to get a sense of how hard it was to work with this. And that's actually pretty straightforward. It's So let's go ahead and keep it like that for now. We're going to need to change the build settings, I think, so we can run our tests again. Yes. Oh no, that seems to be working. Yeah. So now what? Well, we've got basic next year working. Now, why didn't this work? I honestly don't know, but I'm not going to try to figure it out right now. I'm sure it's something incredibly obvious that you'll all recognize in a heartbeat. Um, anyway, what should we do next? We've got some basics here. I think the next step should be to start getting some taxes in on this. In particular, what I want to model is not so much a normal savings account, but capital gains tax. So as you have money in a stock market and you make capital gains on it, you incur expenses. So I'm going to stop the video here and uh, sort of think about what needs to happen next, and that's where we'll pick up next time. So once again, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.